Chapter 2. The Christening. When the kittens were about 8 weeks old, Saraband decided it was time for them to meet their father. One evening, after Withers had retired early to bed, she noticed that he had left the kitchen window slightly ajar. That means a little bit open. Jumping up onto a chair and then the kitchen sink, she told the kittens to follow her. Wait for me!" cried the little no-name kitten, for she was struggling to get up on the sink. Samson gave her a helpful shove, and she was able to scramble up after the others. Poor Tubbs had a hard time getting on the chair as he was so heavy, and when he finally reached the kitchen sink, he accidentally nudged a teacup. It crashed to the floor and splintered into pieces. Saraband felt sure that Withers would be awakened, but surprisingly, all remained silent. After a moment, she tapped the window with her paw until it opened a little wider. "Now, my dears, come quickly," she whispered. "You'll see the garbage cans outside. Jump onto them and then follow me to the garden shed." It was dark, but that didn't bother the kittens. Like all cats, they could see quite well in the night. "Now what, Mama?" Tubbs asked. "Now we wait," said Saraband. "Maximilian, please don't go wandering off. Little one, try to keep up with us, please. Princess, pay attention. I want you all to sit quietly and behave yourselves. This is an important evening." "I'm cold," said Princess in a sulky voice. "You'll get used to it. Stay close and I'll keep you warm." "It's a bit scary," said the smallest kitten. The garden seemed so big, and the trees and hedges cast dark shadows, their branches making a rustling sound in the night. There was the smell of damp grass and fresh wood and old leaves, and all manner of delightful scents came from the garbage cans and the nearby compost heap. After a while, the clouds in the sky parted to reveal a large, gleaming moon, and as its light that bathed the garden, there was a whisper of sound. The kittens caught a glimpse of something, some creature, black and swift. It leapt from a tree to the top of the wall, and they saw that it was a magnificent cat. He was poised, alert, proud, eyes blazing. He was unique, a handsome cat, a strong cat. Having assured himself that all was safe, he stretched a long, lazy stretch, muscles flexing beneath his shiny fur, then sprang effortlessly and gracefully down onto the lawn. Ooh, first graders, who do you think that cat is? Make a prediction in your head. Saraband moved across the grass to meet him. The kittens watched, fascinated, as the two beautiful animals paused to gaze at each other, then moved forward to exchange a gentle touching of noses. Oh, and I'll show you that picture a little bit closer. "I think Mama likes him," whispered Tubbs shyly. "Children," Saraband called softly, "come and meet your father." They bounded across the grass and tumbled into a heap at Saraband's side. The big cat chuckled. My, why they're beautiful, Sarah. Simply grand. And 6 of them. Now, which one is which?" "This is Samson," said Saraband proudly, nudging her eldest son forward. instinctively, Samson tried to act like his father. He pulled himself up as tall as he possibly could in order to give a good impression, and then, with easy grace, he stretched. "Hello, Papa," he said. "And this is Princess," Saraband was saying. "I'm cold," complained Princess, still sulking. "Why, you just come over and sit by me," said her father, and he put her between his front paws where she settled comfortably. "Now, who is this mighty young fellow?" "This is Tubbs," Saraband replied. "Tubbs, won't you please sit up for your father?" Tubbs was so overcome that he put his head beneath his paws. "Hi, Papa," he said in a muffled voice. "He's a little too large at the moment, but I'm afraid he's rather fond of his food," his mother explained. Bounder chuckled again and looked at Polly. "Hello, Papa," she said shyly. "Mama calls me Polly, and I'm happy that you're here." "Why, thank you, ma'am," he bowed. Saraband continued, "This is our smart son, Maximilian. The other day he got himself locked into the pantry and we couldn't find him. But he worked out how to pull down the pantry door handle and he finally got out, all by himself." "Hey, that is smart," said Bounder. Saraband prodded the little no-name cat who had been hiding behind her mother's fluffy tail. "I was wondering if you could help me," she began. "What have we here?" asked Bounder. The tiny furry kitten gazed up at him with dazzling violet-colored eyes. "This is our youngest," replied Saraband. "I haven't given her a name yet. She's so very small, and I simply couldn't think of anything appropriate." "By my whiskers, you certainly are a little one," said the big cat. He leaned down and whispered in a kindly tone, "And I bet you get scared sometimes, huh?" The kitten hung her head and nodded. Hung her head means she kind of lowered her head, and she nodded. "Well, I have the perfect remedy for that. We're just going to have to give you a very important name, something you can hang on to when times are bad. A big, bold name helps you face the world. You can draw yourself up inside and say, 'You don't scare me one bit because my name is Bounder!'" yelled Samson enthusiastically. "Shh," said his mother. Yes, Bounder is one of the good big names. Who can think of another? "My name's a big name," said Maximilian proudly. "Mine's not," said Tubbs. "But you are," said his father. "So that makes it all right. Now let me see." He looked at the smallest kitten. "We need the perfect name, an outstanding name. The kittens waited expectantly, all eyes on the handsome black cat. He looked up towards the stars for a moment, then said thoughtfully, "When I was just a scrap, my great-granddaddy told me a tale that had been told by his granddaddy, about a strong and beautiful lady cat." He paused for a moment as he tried to remember. "Yes, I have it. Her name was Boadicea. How about that for a terrific name?" There was silence. Then Samson said, "Bodie who?" "Boadicea. She was a great warrior queen, brave and fearless, who fought her enemies and sent them away." "But I'll never remember Bodie what's her name," Tubbs complained. "All right, so we'll call her Bo, for short. But Bo will know that she's really a Boadicea inside." "Well, my little Bo, how about it?" Saraband asked. "Does that name feel right?" "I love it," said Maximilian. "Me too," added Polly. The others agreed. Agreed. The little kitten thought about it for a moment, then nodded. She danced happily in a small circle, pleased to have a name of her own at last. She stood as tall as she could and said loudly, "I'm Boadicea." She poked Princess in fun and received a smack on the ear for it. Everyone laughed. The kittens and their mother and father sat and talked long into the night. "Where is your home, Papa? Where do you live?" asked Samson. "Oh, I don't have a permanent base," replied Bounder. "I guess you could say the world is my home." "Have you been to lots of places?" asked Maximilian. "More than most cats, I reckon." "Have you ever heard of Paris, France, or Italy?" "I've been there. They're a long way off, across the sea." "What's the sea?" asked little Bo. "Oh, that's a big fish pond. I'll show you someday." "I'd love to see the world," said Samson wistfully. "Me too," said Maximilian. "Me too," echoed Bo. "Well, you must try to do just that," said Bounder. "Don't be sit-at-home fireside cats like so many." "But I like sitting by the fireside," interrupted Princess. "I can see that you do," replied her father. "But what will it get you, my pretty one? Nothing but a warm nose and a fat tummy. And that's not what life should be about. Life is for having fun, learning things, going on adventures. It keeps you on your paws," Bounder told them. Fascinating stories about his youth, his family, his scraps, escapes, fights, how he could beat all the cats in the neighborhood when it came to mousing, how he had nearly been run over by a train, how he had swum a great river to rescue a little puppy, how he had met Saraband and had instantly fallen in love with her. The kittens listened wide-eyed, and the dawn was almost breaking when Saraband decided it was time to move back into the house. The kittens protested, but Bounder said, "Do as your mamma says. We'll meet again soon. Careful now. Withers and I know each other well, and we're not fond of each other. That means they don't get along. I don't want him giving you trouble for having been out with me." He lifted his head suddenly and sniffed. "I think we're going to have snow. Your mamma will tell you what that is." He touched Saraband's nose lovingly and nudged the kittens. "Bye, family. See you around." He looked at the big wall for a moment. His head cocked to one side, then sprang in one easy movement to the top. With a wave of his magnificent tail, he was gone. The amazing thing was that after 2 days, it really did begin to snow, just as he had said it would. And that is the end of chapter 2.